Coming last after a long day of extremely profound and deep talks is not great. But hopefully I'll share some stories with you today, and hopefully you'll learn something, because the stories I'm going to learn with you today have basically changed my life. And since I'm last, so I'm going to start with relatively entertaining story. So in Kyrgyzstan, in August of 2011, I spent about 6 weeks there. And that was the first assignment in my first volunteering assignment in my 6-month sabbatical. And we'll get to that in a second. So I was sitting one night on dinner with my host family, and it was a big dinner. They slaughtered a sheep. There's a lot of meat there. I'm excited. But then the reason there was an occasion. The son of that family has come in from a different town, and I don't really understand a lot of the things happening because my only connection to the family is a 15-year-old daughter that speaks English, and she learned it from the Peace Corps volunteers in that town. So pretty broken English. So anyways, we're sitting on the dinner table. That son that came from a different town, he's trying to tell the daughter something to translate to me. The daughter's blushing, she's getting irritated, she's getting angry, she leaves the table. I am really curious, what is he trying to tell me? So he, again, tries to talk to me in Kyrgyz. He tries to talk to me in Russian. I don't understand anything. He gives up. He has to do the visual demonstration. He grabs his 2-year-old son, grabs him, puts him on the dinner table, right next to the meat. Drops his pants, points at his penis, and gives me the scissor chop, chop, chop sign. So later on, I couldn't eat meat after that. But what he was actually trying to ask me is, in your country, in the Middle East, at what age do they circumcise boys? Because he was extremely proud that he circumcised his kid at a year old, where they usually circumcise the boys at 6 years old. And by that, he thinks that he made his kid a Muslim at a much younger age. So he's proud of himself. So that was Kyrgyzstan. And I went to Kyrgyzstan specific because I've developed this massive interest in learning about kind of lesser known Muslim communities. And that kind of grew from my years in the US, trying to kind of maintain a balance between my identity, my faith, and integrating into your culture. And that kind of lead me into a little bit of my background, right? So my background is, both my parents were born in Palestine, and both of them were refugees. My mom's side actually comes in from a relatively wealthy side. My grandpa from my mom's side was one of the largest farmers in the farm in Jordan Valley. Not anymore. My uncles proudly wasted everything. My father's side, my grandpa from my father's side was a clerk because he lost all his land in his village when he moved to Jordan. And my father he basically made himself, he worked really hard to give us the easy life that we've had, me and my siblings. And it's an easy life. My problem is definitely #first world problems by any means. So in March or April of 2011, many of you know that I kind of spent some time in Deloitte Consulting. And so one night I was sitting, my senior manager had given me a new assignment to look into, to decide whether to join or not. It was basically like kind of a fast track assignment. I was a consultant, she was giving me a senior consultant role, and I kind of had to tell her the next day whether I'm taking it or not. And I was thinking really hard, and I remember feeling I was really feeling confused and lost. I felt lost because there was that question that is extremely nagging to me. What does it mean? What does it mean to me to be a first-generation American, a first-generation Muslim American who was born in Saudi Arabia, grew up in Jordan, and is always titled as Palestinian? What does that mean? For me, at that point, at that point, I felt like I'm top of the world, right? I checked all my boxes. I've made everything that I've done everything that I wanted to do. I've learned to fly. I've traveled everywhere I wanted. I've got all the good ratings at Deloitte. So what does that mean to me? I didn't really know, and that was really weighing me down. And I really wanted to figure that out. So I took some time off. I went to my boss, I was like, okay, I'm going to take 6 months off. Of course it helped. I mean, it's not very heroic because they were actually paying me during the 6 months, so it was really easy to make that decision. I was surprised that I was the only one who was doing it in my region. I was like, everyone should do it. Anyways, so I traveled, I spent some time in Kyrgyzstan, I was volunteering, spent some time in Jordan volunteering, and then I ended up in Palestine volunteering. So in Palestine, I was teaching photography to middle school children in a refugee camp. And I was living in the refugee camp. And honestly, it was the hardest time in my life. I figured I was going to go there, I'm one of you, hey, it was not easy. And, the boys, it was easy, at some point, like, the boys just work with them, slap them around, that's fine, it works. They'll listen to you. The girls is not easy, because I've learned middle school girls is just really a nightmare. We go down to the town to kind of, photo shooting stuff, and literally, I'm not kidding, this happens. The girls would go take photos of tourists, come back to me, and show me the pictures, and be like, hotties, huh? I didn't know what to do. There was no right answer at that point. Anyways, so one weekend I decided to take the trip up to my mother's, the village where my mother comes from. And so I was up in about, a few hours up north near a city called Nablus. My mom had connected me with a long lost cousin of hers, which is him and his brother, the only people left from that family out of that village. And of course, my mom comes to describe to me her grandpa's house, and of course, the lemon tree. She actually asked me to bring her a lemon back. The lemon tree was no longer there. But anyways, I take the bus, I get to the bus station in Nablus, that long lost cousin was going to pick me up. I never met him, I'm waiting, and then this white Mitsubishi pulls in. It was dropped down so low, the wheels seemed like hidden in the chassis of the car. There was like massive subwoofer, like blasting out Eminem. I was like, please don't be me, please. Of course it was me. So this cousin, long lost cousin, rolls down the window. I was like, Ammar! I was like, yeah. I was like, come in. Like, oh, shit. So I'm sitting in that car, like sinking as far as I can go in the seat. I don't want to be seen. I don't know anyone in that city, but I still don't want to be seen. And he said, I'm going to show you the city before we go to the village. Great. And he drives right into the first, the university campus in that town, rolls down the windows and starts checking out the girls. I was like, yes, this is going great. Anyways, we drive down to the village. We go to the village, we grab lunch. He was a great hospitable man despite his shady manners. And then he gathers all the kids of his and his brother, like 7 kids out there, and they walk me around town. The village, I walked around in like 10 minutes. But it was interesting because at some level, I felt connected, but at some other level, I couldn't really relate that much. We were walking, and everyone knew my grandpa, and everyone was like welcoming me because of my grandpa's name, and everyone was like, yeah, come in. But what I realized that day the most, and that what kind of hit me the most, is that I could have been any of those kids showing me around. Those kids had no future, basically. They had no future, basically. There was none. And all they were talking to me deeply about, they were asking me, oh, you've gone out, you've traveled, you've gone to the university, you've seen the water, you've seen the ocean, you've seen the sea, you've gone on planes. And that kind of hit me that that's how I can help him. I can help him not because I can connect to them, because I am one of them at some level. At some level, they see me as one of them that have gone out and done what he's passionate about, and have done it. And at that point, that was kind of my answer to my dilemma of what does it mean to me? Do I drop everything I've done, everything I have, and go out and try to help people, make Jordan a better place, make Palestine a better place, make the Middle East a better place? Or do I continue pursuing a passion, an interest? And I realized that's where I am. That's where I should be. I owe it to my family. I owe it to my sister. I owe it to everyone out there because I've gotten the opportunities that none of them have. And if I kind of throw it all out just to go there and help them, I'm not helping anyone. These problems are bigger than myself, are bigger than a lot of people. And honestly, I realized that I help them more if I go out there and pursue what I wanted to do and kind of get my passion out. Of course, after that, I decided to join Sloan and get a $100,000 loan, and I'll figure out where that would take me. Thank you.